You open an app. There it is, a number. 680 something. No context, no explanation. Is that good? Is that bad? Should you be worried? Should you be proud? Nobody tells you. The app just shows you a number and lets you sit there wondering what it means while it quietly affects your interest rates, your rental applications, sometimes even your insurance premiums. Here is the part almost nobody knows. That number is not the only number. There is not one credit score. There are several. Here is every type of credit score, what it actually measures, and why the score you see might not be the score that matters. FICO Score. This is the score that matters most. FICO stands for Fair Isaac Corporation, the company that created the scoring model back in the 1980s. It is the industry standard. The vast majority of lenders, mortgage companies, auto lenders, credit card issuers use some version of FICO to decide whether to approve you and what rate to charge you. The score ranges from 300 to 850. Payment history matters most. Roughly 35% of the score. Credit utilization, how much of your available credit you are using, comes next at around 30%. Length of credit history, new credit inquiries, and credit mix make up the rest. When someone says they check their credit score, if they do not specify which one, there is a good chance they are talking about some version of FICO. But even within FICO, there is more than one version. VantageScore. This is the score built to compete with FICO. VantageScore was created jointly by the three major credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, as an alternative scoring model. It also ranges from 300 to 850, which makes it easy to confuse with FICO since the numbers look similar. But the formula weighs factors differently. VantageScore can generate a score for people with as little as 1 month of credit history. FICO typically requires 6 months. This makes VantageScore useful for people just starting to build credit. The scores from FICO and VantageScore for the same person at the same moment are often different. Sometimes by a little, sometimes by a lot. This is exactly why checking your score on one app and assuming that number is universal is a mistake. It might not be the number your lender sees at all. FICO Auto Score. This is a version of FICO built specifically for auto lenders. When you apply for a car loan, many lenders do not use your general FICO score. They use a version tuned specifically to predict the likelihood of default on auto loans. The auto score places more weight on how you have handled previous auto loans specifically. It ranges from 250 to 900, a completely different scale from the standard FICO score. This means your auto score can look dramatically different from your general credit score, even though it is measuring largely the same underlying data. Someone might have a general FICO score of 700 and an auto score of 750 or 650, depending on their specific history with vehicle financing. If you are about to buy a car, the number on your favorite free credit app is not necessarily the number the dealership's lender is using. FICO Bankcard Score. This is another industry-specific version of FICO, built specifically for credit card issuers. Like the auto score, it uses a different scale, 250 to 900, and weighs your history with revolving credit more heavily than your general score does. If you have managed credit cards responsibly, but have limited experience with installment loans like mortgages or auto loans, your bank card score might be notably higher than your general FICO score. The reverse is also true. Strong installment loan history with limited credit card experience can produce a lower bank card score relative to your general score. Card issuers use this specialized version because it is more predictive of how you will behave with the specific type of credit they are extending you. Different lenders, different questions, different scores. Educational score. This is the score most people actually see. Free credit monitoring apps, banking apps, and credit card statements often display what is called an educational score. It is not FICO. It is not VantageScore. It is usually a simplified consumer-facing model built by the company providing the free service. It gives you a general sense of your credit health. It is genuinely useful for tracking trends over time, watching your score go up or down in response to your behavior.
What it is not useful for is predicting exactly what a lender will see when you actually apply for a loan. The educational score might show 720. The lender's FICO auto score might show 680. Both can be accurate simultaneously. They are simply measuring different things using different formulas. Treat the educational score as a general guide. Do not treat it as the definitive number that every lender is looking at. Business credit score. This is a completely separate score that most people do not know exists until they start a business. A business credit score measures the creditworthiness of a company, not an individual. It is tracked separately from your personal credit through business credit bureaus like Dun& and Bradstreet, Experian Business, and Equifax Business. Business credit scores typically range from 0 to 100, a completely different scale from personal credit scores. They are built from the business's payment history with suppliers, credit accounts in the business's name, and public records related to the company. For new businesses, personal credit and business credit often intertwine. Lenders may require a personal guarantee or check the owner's personal score until the business establishes its own credit history. Over time, a strong business credit score allows a company to borrow and negotiate terms independent of the owner's personal financial situation. Rental credit score. This is the score landlords increasingly rely on to decide whether to approve your rental application. Some landlords pull a standard FICO or VantageScore. Others use specialized rental screening services that generate their own score weighted specifically toward predicting rental payment reliability and eviction risk. These scores can incorporate data that traditional credit scores do not. Rental payment history reported through certain platforms, eviction records, and sometimes even income verification. This is why someone with a decent general credit score can still be denied an apartment, or why someone with a mediocre general score can still get approved if their rental-specific history is strong. The rental market runs on its own scoring logic, separate from the traditional lending world. Insurance credit score. This is the score most people have never heard exists, and it can quietly affect what they pay every single month. In many places, auto and home insurers are permitted to use a credit-based insurance score as one factor in setting your premium. This is not your FICO score. It is a separate calculation that uses some of the same underlying credit data, but weighs it specifically toward predicting the likelihood of filing an insurance claim. Statistically, insurers have found that certain credit behaviors correlate with claim frequency. Whether that correlation is fair or not is a genuine point of debate, and some places have restricted or banned the practice entirely. Where it is allowed, two people with identical driving records can pay meaningfully different premiums based on this score alone. Most people never see this number. They just see the bill. Every type of credit score, 8 different numbers, 8 different formulas, all built from overlapping pieces of the same underlying data, weighted differently depending on who is asking and what they are trying to predict. The number on your favorite free app is real. It is useful. It is also just one version of a much larger system, a system built by lenders, for lenders, to answer one question over and over again in as many specific ways as possible. Will this person pay us back? Now you know, there is never just one answer to that question. There are 8. That is the point.